Hello friends, welcome to LeggLife. Welcome back to our Sunday video. If you've been around here a while, you know that our Sunday videos are different than our normal vlogs throughout the week because Sundays when we focus on recipes, cooking, keto journey, health journey, all that fun stuff. Today's video and this recipe is one I've never made before. It's actually thanks to a friend, our friend Desi. You guys know Desi? You guys love Desi. She came back recently from a trip to South Carolina. She went down to South Carolina and Florida, and when she came back, she brought some Southern garlic cheese grits. Now, we are gonna fancy these up today, but today, we're making grits. Now, full confession, I've only had grits a few times. I know a lot of you guys love grits. Some of you hate grits. Grits can be pretty divisive. The grits I've had, I've always liked, not necessarily loved. I will say that I've liked them, I have not loved them. However, this bag are cheese garlic grits, and honestly, like, those are two of my favorite words in the world, and so I'm excited to see how these taste. But, as I mentioned, we are going to fancy these up, so let me show you the ingredients we're gonna need for this recipe. Now, for the grits, the directions that it came with are actually super simple. 4 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of butter, bring it to a boil, cover and simmer for 12 minutes, good to go. That seems very easy. So, got the butter we're gonna need for that. I do have some cheese here in the event we need to make them extra cheesy because, well, when you can make a recipe extra cheesy, why wouldn't you? But then what we're gonna do to kind of class it up a little bit is we have some of these jalapenos and we have some garlic and some onion that we are going to cook together and actually not necessarily mix into the grits, but top the grits with jalapenos, onions, and garlic. Now, full confession, this recipe is happening for a couple of reasons. One, we need to make the grits, right? Desi brought them back, want to make them. I'm excited to try it. But then the other reason is that these jalapenos are on their last leg. Now, you guys, this was the most amazing deal ever because Auburn and I were at Costco a couple of weeks ago, I guess, and I've never seen these before. They had a giant bag, I think it was 3 pounds or 2 pounds of jalapenos for like $8, which is crazy because they're normally really expensive, and when we got them they looked great and they've lasted good, and we've made them in a couple different things, so super glad that I got these. But a lot of them just like were moldy and gross and needed to be tossed, but there were a few that were still good. So we're gonna use the last of those Costco jalapenos today in this recipe. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the garlic and the onions all cut up. So the onions and the jalapenos and the garlic we're just gonna dice up. And I asked Auburn if we should use a whole onion or a half onion. She said half, so we're gonna start there. And then this is going to go in a pan with butter with everything else once it's diced. So you can see we have all the jalapenos, the seeds scooped out of the middle. So we'll dice those here in a second. For the garlic, we're gonna use the great plate that Auburn gave us that we absolutely love. I know we've showed this on videos before, but it's just so simple. It's like the easiest way to grate garlic. Because look at that. So easy. Love it. So we're just gonna do that with the 3 cloves. And then I'm gonna dice up the jalapenos. And then these are all gonna go get friendly with some butter in a pan. Butter is in the cast iron pan. We're gonna turn that on like medium high. Auburn, what do you think? Okay. Let that melt down, and all of this is gonna go in there. The jalapenos are diced, onions, garlic is grated, so let's get that in the pan with the butter. And while this butter is melting, we have 4 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of butter that we are going to bring to a boil over here. You can see the butter in there is melting, waiting on this to boil, and then we will add the package of grits. The onions and jalapenos are looking and smelling really good. I almost added the garlic. Auburn said I should hold off a little bit because it would burn if I added it now. Good to know. So we're gonna let these cook first, and then we'll add the garlic a little later. The grits that we're using today is from a place in South Carolina called Savor the Flavor. I'm actually gonna link to their website, savortheflavorsc.com, down below if you're interested in checking these out. And you can see our water for the grits is boiling, so now we're gonna get these in there. So it says to stir in the contents slowly, which we're gonna do. Oh, it's kind of bubbling up here. And then after we stir this all in, We're going to cover it for 10 to 12 minutes and put it down to a simmer. I've never done this before. I have no clue if I'm doing this right. People in the South are probably yelling at me, and I don't care.
Basically, you don't want lumps.
Makes sense, okay. And then down to simmer. There we go. So we have about 4 minutes left on the grits until we take a look at those. And look at how great the color is on the onions and jalapenos. Looks so good. So now Auburn is going to add the garlic in there. I love everything that is happening in that pan right now. The timer just went off on the grits. Let's see how they look. Oh boy. Auburn, what do you think? Should I give them a stir? Yum. Now confession, I really don't know what I'm looking for consistency-wise. They looked a little watery, but now that I'm stirring it in, it feels like it's kind of incorporating pretty well. It did say 10 to 12 minutes on the package. We did 10. Close, no cigar. We're gonna put it back in for a couple minutes.
Still a little crunchy.
These are all done, ready to go. So now we're just waiting on the grits. We have probably a minute and a half left on those. Here we go. Moment of truth. This is after a couple more minutes. It definitely looks better than when we first took it off. All right, Auburn. Want to try it?
No, I burnt my finger.
Oh. Well, then I will try it. All right, just tried them. They're delicious, and I think they're done. They were gritty, and that's the best way to describe it, before. But now they taste a little softer. The flavor is spectacular. So, I'm going to turn the heat off on those. I think these are done. So Auburn is actually going to add something else to hers. She's gonna add a dollop of cream cheese, which actually sounds pretty amazing. And then you're gonna go grits over top of that?
Grits on top.
Dang.
And on top of that, some of the jalapeno mix.
Yum. So there it is with just the grits in my bowl. Now we're gonna top it with that. So there you go, you can see the grits topped with that combination of jalapeno, garlic, onion, butter. Excited to try this. Okay, so I know the grits are good because I've tasted them to like see if they were done, and the flavor is spectacular. I've heard people say that grits can be very bland. To me, maybe it comes down to like the quality of the grit, the kind of grit. I have no clue what I'm talking about, you guys, but these garlic cheese grits, just by themselves, if we didn't top them with anything, these would be delicious. And honestly, it was really easy to make, but here is a moment of truth. A bite with everything. It's like steaming, so I might regret this, but let's try it. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so good. Okay, that is so good. There's like a little bit of heat from the jalapenos, and it just, everything about this, the flavors work so good. And Auburn and I were talking about when we were making this, that one of the nice things, you could top this with anything. You could top this with bacon, obviously you could top this with like shrimp, you could top this with whatever you wanted, and I really love that. But this is a delicious lunch. It was so quick, so easy. This is the kind of thing I actually would go on their website and order more of those. I know that Desi brought us this one pack as a gift from her trip, but I would love to have these on hand. Now obviously not keto, so not the kind of thing we would eat a lot or that often, but this is delicious. So I'm gonna go and eat the rest of this bowl and maybe even what's left in the pan because it's that good. But friends, thanks so much for hanging out. I know it's a little bit shorter of a Sunday video, a little bit of an easier one, but that's just how meals are sometimes, right? We got to use the jalapenos we needed to use. We got to use a gift from a friend, got to make a dish that I had never made before. To me, this was a total and complete win. I loved how easy this was. Grits have always been intimidating to me. I don't know why. It was so simple. It was so simple. And I think it'd be fun to play in the future and like come up with different flavor combinations. Like maybe an Alaskan version with like some cut up reindeer sausage or something like that. Maybe even some like king crab on top. The butteriness of the grits with the crab. Ooh, that could be delicious. But friends, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our LeggLife community, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next LeggLife video.